Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to 4-Stroke Karts. We are making a video about this too. All right, so I wanted to tell you a bit of a quick story. Jumped in an Ovale GP2 when it came out. It was a blessing. Moved into the 150 CRF, which I loved, in mini wheels, and I did that for a year. I did the Ovale for another year. And then I decided to go in year number 3 to go into this beautiful 250R, which is currently for sale. Of course, this video is a bit of a promo for selling the bike, but at the same time explain to you what I did and why. I spent a year with the Ovale GP2 when it came out. Thank you to Brandon Cretu and the folks of Moto. I was able to train with that bike for a few months and get used to the mini scene. If you haven't yet, try the mini scene. The mini scene in the go-kart tracks is absolutely amazing. It's bonkers, but it taught me a lot about motorcycle racing, or about motorcycling period, more than the 10 or 15 years that I rode scooters and tracks and riding on the streets and all that stuff. It really taught me racecraft. So after doing the Ovale times and after doing the CRF 150 times, I decided to jump on the 250. An opportunity came by. Thomas, a friend of ours out in the kart track, had this bad boy for sale. It happened to be heavily tuned and heavily ready. It was built by the Payne family. I have all the paperwork with all the registration of the Payne family, bill of sales to Thomas, to me. So I've got all the paperwork to track the chassis and the serial number to the original paperwork. This was built in 2017 to race the ultralight supermoto for AMA. And Christian Payne, his grandson, won with this. It was built by the awesome guys of Tokyo Mods. And they did pretty much everything to the freaking bike. And I found out by doing a maintenance, finding out that the piston needed replacement. And then when they told me what was inside, I was like, holy shoo. So that's why when we get next to a 450 stock, it's like almost neck and neck. So anyway, it's a lovely bike. Now, but the reasons why I'm telling you the difference between a 250 and a 450, the reason why I jump between a 150 to a 250 is because I would jump sometimes in my friends' 450s and be scared. Be scared of the torque, be scared of the power. But there's nothing to be scared of. You can jump on a 450 if you want to. But when I jumped on the 250, I found that it had similar rims, 16.5s in the front, 16.5s in the rear, and the chassis, the size. It was just a bigger bike with a smaller engine, although it was heavily tuned. The real differences between these two suckers are, although the chassis and the size and lower in the bike, and this is supermoto prepped and this is supermoto ready out of the shop, the piston is much smaller, shorter, narrower, and the stroke is fast. The 450s have a bigger bore, short stroke as well, but the bigger bore makes the piston a little heavier. Now, the result of this is instant torque as soon as you open the throttle. Thank God for traction control. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work really well, but hey. And 8, 9, 10,000 RPM. Right now, this is tuned to 14,000 RPM with the Vortex ECU and whatever's tuned in the engine. So open gas, and the power doesn't come in until the rev hits the 6,000, 7,000, the real crazy nervy power. So it's really smooth. I've been able to open the gas wide open on the 250, and it builds up to the speed. As soon as I touch the gas on this mother trucker, brah, and it's about torque. It's instant, immediate torque. It's lovely, but this gently allowed me to crash a few times and gently walked me into this, or let me build the courage, although I didn't, you know, some of you guys didn't need it, I needed it to get into that. So I trained with this for a year. It taught me a lot of braking. It taught me a lot of techniques. It taught me how to ride really well. I was riding like an idiot, and then I started learning how to ride it properly. I did the upside down bars, I did flat track bars. Right now it's back into the supermoto stock, not stock, but like supermoto style for the sale. But the differences between these two are the torque, the bottom end torque, and how gentle this guy is in opening the throttle at the very beginning. Sometimes I feel like this is too much power. I used to think, oh, that's too much power. I'm just gonna go stay with the 250 forever and ever and ever. But then it got to a point where I maxed it out. So I've been doing this, a motorcycle for a year, maxed it out in my abilities and its abilities, kinda. Then did the 150 for a while, then got into the 250 by complete coincidence, but I adored it. But then I didn't go from the 150 Mini to the 450. Now, do you need to? Nah, man, buy yourself a 450 if you want to. But it was extremely helpful to jump on this. Maintenance on this is really easy, as it is on that, to be honest. But it was amazing. So anyway, what are the differences that I found out between the CRF 250R and the Husky 450 SM? The chassis here is softer. The chassis here is like a knife. It's very precise. The chassis is much more forgiving in here. Big difference in chassis flex. I mean, you can, the way it's designed is just a little different. The 250s feel razor sharp, or at least that chassis feels razor sharp. Suspension, they're all stock as they come. Bobby, Moto suspension tuning. Laner suspension set it up at the beginning. Bobby came and did it after, did a maintenance, oils, and so on and so forth. And that was it. But yeah, this was an amazing piece of machine, which I loved. I hope I can pass it on to somebody who wants to buy it. I want to wait for it to go. It's got Moto Master brakes in the front, Warp 9 wheels, full-on Supermoto conversion. I went into Tokyo Moto and I added all the stuff that's in the engine on the outside, and I think it was like close to 10 grand, 10, 11 grand of extras on top of the price of the bike. And I just rebuilt the engine. The engine only has almost 10 hours since the rebuild. So super happy with that. But yeah, lots of FMF bond, stage 3 kit, fully built, Carrillo piston arms, top, valves, Hinson clutch, all kinds of little bits and bobs. Vortex ECU tuned to the exhaust with the map, triple clamps, CP triple clamps, slides fronts and back for protection, Moto Master, Brembo brakes, steel lines, Pro Taper clutch. There's a lot of stuff in this bike, which I adore. But anyway, this is gonna teach me a lot this year. I know it. I already crashed on it. I hurt my shoulder, hurt my behind the collarbone and the first rib. Luckily, nothing was extremely broken. Did not need surgery. I just needed to lay down for a minute. But I learned how to high side on that one already. So I need to learn to graduate this a little bit more. That's why I love this guy, because he used to come out of the exits, and obviously you're trying to build into the rest, so you want to open as soon as possible. Here you've got to dial it a little more. So lots to learn over here. Heavier by a chunk, much lighter, much more flickable, skinnier engine. But yeah, guys, that's it. This is the comparison between the 250R and the Husqvarna 450 SM. I love that thing. I totally love that thing. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you in the next round, and more videos to come. The next race for two-wheel track days is coming up, the mini races, which is an absolute hoot. And yeah, peace.